Hey guys, I know today is like Happy Wednesday. We missed y'all yesterday, but you know what? We are here today. And guys, I cannot wait to who I am about to share this stage with because she all about that leadership, empowering sisters. So without further ado, let me bring my sister Shayla Atkins to the stage. Hey,
Hello, hello, hello. How are you?
I am great. What about you?
I am well, thank you. So excited to be here.
I'm so excited to have you. So, I know a little bit about you, but the audience do not know, who Shayla?
Who
What's
is
Shayla
it?
all about? What is wait a minute, where am I?
Look, come
What
on now.
come on now.
Come
Like
on.
what's all of this about?
Come on with the
So,
book.
okay, the book. Okay.
Yes.
So give them a breakdown. Who's Shayla?
So, again, thank you so much for having me. So, who am I? Who is this person that is taking up your evening tonight? So, I am a leadership expert and authenticity coach for high achieving women of color. So that's
Mm.
one of the hats I wear. On top of that, I am a global diversity, equity, and inclusion consultant. So I have a global DNI firm that I run. So everything I do is all about equity and leveling the playing field. And one thing to know about me is I talk about leveling the playing field, especially for us women and taking our rightful place in leadership. I talk about leading with spice. And so that's the book that she's holding up, Leading with Spice. And Spice is an acronym. So, one thing to know, I love my acronyms, but we talk about leading with spice. And this is how you authentically and effectively dominate your business and your career. So, that is
Ooh,
me.
I love it. I love it, love it, love it. I can't wait to get you to share this on my stage.
Yes, I'm so excited.
Yes. So, what would you say would probably be some of the benefits of women in leadership?
So here's the thing, whether you are a leader in corporate America or a leader as a business owner, right? So I feel like you're a leader no matter what. You're leading teams, you're leading yourself, right? In some cases. And the benefits and what you're going to walk away. So, one thing to know about me is that I not only inspire you on stage, but I equip you. So, not only am I going to get you fired up,
Mm,
but you're going to walk away with tangible actions,
yeah.
things that you need to go and implement
Hello.
yesterday. Okay.
Hello.
So I'm gonna get you riled up, and I'm not gonna leave you there, right? You're gonna walk away like, okay, I know exactly what it is I need to do. And you know it, you'll know exactly because spice is a framework. So spice are those critical skills that I believe women need to have to one. And so there's an extra S in there, but we have to strip away some of these layers. And I talk about that. What's holding us back, whether it's what's making us feel like an imposter, what's making us conform in the workplace. We know how corporate America is, and
Mm,
sometimes we code switch, right? So who are we at work versus who are we at home? We do that in the business world, right? So how do we lead authentically and effectively? So no more burnout. In the book, there's a whole chapter that talks about hanging up the superwoman cape. Like it's time to
You
hang it
know
up.
what is so funny? So the month mid June, the ends of July, I am like we're getting ready to do a whole segment on take that big S off your chest.
Oh my God. Yes, please do.
I'm like, but it leads to my next question. So, what would you probably say are some of the barriers for females in leadership, but more so, and I call everybody my sister, but more so my sisters of color. I
Yeah.
just want to come out and say
Oh,
it,
yes.
because whether we want to face it or not, there is a difference.
There's a huge difference. And so here's the thing. When we think about that S on our chest and our burnout. There's the external factors, right? There's the workplace, right? Like, I'm not going to sit here and be naive to say that we sometimes don't find ourselves in cultures that perpetuate like this constant workload, right?
Yeah.
And so that is a factor, but there's also some internal deep work, inner work. And from personal experience, I found myself with this need and this desire and this craving to be the savior of my team, to be the go-to person on my team,
Mm,
to be the person that was so reliable that you can call on at any day or night. I had zero boundaries. I said yes to every role, yes
I
to
hear
every
that a lot.
opportunity, yes to everything. I had to do some deep inner work to figure out, why did I feel the need to do that?
Yes.
Yes. And so, part of in the book and what I share on stage is this process I call stripping. And not the
Mm.
stripping you're thinking about, but we strip away all the be like, wait,
Right.
what we doing?
No, I love it.
Wait,
I love it.
what we doing? But no, we have to do a little bit of stripping. And the stripping is those layers, that facade, that persona that we put on. We got to get
Ooh,
rid of
baby.
all of that, all of it, and find out
Oh
who
my
you are
goodness.
at the core.
Wow.
Yes.
So I'm about to touch. I don't know if you've watched some of my podcast. Well, yes, you have, because you actually messaged me. Girl, I like to get all the tea, as you call it. So
Yes.
um I like for us to just put it out here.
Yeah. Put
So
it out there. Yeah.
why do you think there are not a lot more leaders and speakers? I'm just gonna put it out there, speakers too, because we are speakers also.
Mm-hmm.
Um, with women of color.
Mm. Listen, I literally just got done talking to someone about this, and there was a whole
My
thread.
husband telling me it's dark in here.
I'm gonna say, baby, you glowing. It's like this glow.
Right,
Like this.
you dark. You dark. I'm like, oh,
I'm
I
like, you
thought y'all could
glowing.
see me.
I can see you,
Okay,
girl. It's a glow.
you can see me, girl. You can see me.
Um, so I was just talking about this around speakers. Why is there not a lot of speakers, especially women of color, right? So a couple things. One, externally, I'll say there is this inequity, right, of paying women of color to speak. Since we're gonna put it out there. And
Mm,
there's this paying women fairly and equitably, or the lack thereof, right? And
right.
sometimes a lot of these conferences and promoters and things of that sort, like, oh, I want to give you a pat on the back and give you, no, I don't need all that. So that's one. Two, again, some of the internal deep work. One of the things, we have to think about is, are we showing up as our authentic selves? If you
Come
step
on
on
now.
stage
Come
and you
on.
got to put that persona and that
Come
facade
on.
on,
Come
people
on.
can see right through it. So your ability to connect and to be real and to be authentic and to be who you are, whether you love your bright colors and your southern accent and twang, embrace all of it and use it to your advantage.
And
Show
you know
up
what is
as
so
who you
crazy
are.
that you say that, because I know first early on when I came into this industry,
Mm-hmm.
um, because me being on stages, me speaking in the hair world, I've been doing this now for 17 years.
Oh wow.
But me crossing over to
Mm-hmm.
speaking to other entrepreneurs outside the beauty industry, I
Yeah.
always felt like I had to look a certain way, sound a certain way. And my sister said to me one day, I was like, I don't know if it's a compliment or what. But my sister was like, Adrian, you are missing that drag queen personality.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like,
Mm.
queen, I don't know if I want to take that on as a compliment. But she was like, you got this bigger than life persona. And I watch how when you walk into a room, you were shrinking.
Oh my
And it was
God.
like, it was like what you said. I was just so conscious about the way that I spoke, how I articulated everything. I'm very expressive. I'm a Jersey girl. I can't help it.
I love
But
it.
it was like, it was like what you said. And I did feel, especially because a lot of the places that I was going into, it was not a lot of women of color.
Yep.
And I do feel like they were hanging on every single word.
Yep.
So again, I'm going to come at you with something else. How did you deal with, you don't have that look?
Mm.
And do you know the look that I'm talking about?
I know exactly what
You
look
don't have
that you're
that
talking
press
about.
hair. You know what I'm saying? You coming
Mm-mm.
up in here with braids.
A whole
Come on,
mohawk.
shave side. Shave, come on, come on.
Listen, a whole mohawk.
Right.
Yeah,
And I know before you open your mouth, they have already summed you up.
they thought they
How
did.
do you deal with that?
They thought they did. You know what? It's I'm gonna answer this question, but I have this funny saying and that I share is that whether I'm in the business world or when I was in corporate America, I would spend so much effort and energy to blend in and then be so
Mm,
upset when I didn't stand out.
Jesus.
And we do that. We spend so much time, effort, and energy to make sure we don't bring attention to ourselves and then piss when we don't stand out. Well, duh. And so,
Right,
how
right.
do I deal with those preconceived notions, right? So I'm gonna show up with my braids and a mohawk, and I'm going to step into a boardroom, an executive room, and talk about
Come
leadership,
on. Come
right?
on.
And talk about $1 million contracts. And how do I do that? I'm gonna tell you something. I take pride in it's gonna sound wrong. I take pride in the fact that when I show up and the fact that I know my stuff and they sit there with this, I eat it up every
Come on
time.
now. I
And this
know
is
that's
what I'll
right.
call taking your perceived shortcomings and leveraging to your competitive advantage. You take your perceived shortcomings and you leverage them to your competitive advantage. And so the thing is, I become memorable,
Yes.
right? They, to your point, you said it, they hang on to every word. And that doesn't mean that you don't know your stuff. I show up, I know my stuff, I know my numbers, and I eat it up every time. And so if there's those preconceived notions, I break that down with the fact that with my spice, because you business savvy, that's what the S is. I perform intentionally, meaning I contribute to the bottom line. I have an
Mm.
authentic image, which is the I communicate effectively and concisely, and I expose myself to new people and to new opportunities. When you lead with spice, the exterior, you get to have fun with it. You get to be yourself. I'm gonna wear my yellow and my pinks and
Come
my colors
on.
because I
Come
know
on.
my spice is
Come
gonna
on.
back it up, and it gives you
Whew.
that confidence. And so I love it. I eat it up, to be honest.
So what would you say to a woman? And I'm not
Mhm.
gonna even say, because girl is, I try to act like I'm 25 all the time, but it ain't happening. You know what I'm saying? Let's just be real. But what would you say, not only to young women,
Mhm.
but to women that was like how I said how I used to be? Thank God I'm in a space now where I can authentically walk into a room and say, you know what? You gonna love it or hate it. And most of the times I feel like it was a mental thing with me.
It is.
No, because I may have had one person, and you know how we do sometimes, one person to say one negative thing. And you got all these people over here that are saying great things, but I held on
You
to
held
one
on to
person.
this.
Yeah, I held on to the one person saying that one negative thing. So, what would you say to women like me that, you know what, when we do walk into that room, we would shrink and, how do we own it?
How do we own it? So first and foremost, the first thing is I've been there. I spent over a decade shrinking, code switching, straightening my hair. I used to change the tone of my voice to take it
Wow.
up a couple of octaves. I would only wear black or gray. I would change my hobbies and my
Mm.
interests so I can fit in with the work crowd and, talk about the same things. And I've
Oh
been
my
there.
goodness.
I know exactly, what that looks like, right? And so first things first, I would tell whether you are young, old, black, brown, green, purple, yellow, you have to do the inner work. And for me, when I did the inner work, it was this trifecta that was holding me back, like you said, mentally. It was the fact that despite all the evidence, I still felt like an imposter. I still feel like that I climbed after climbing and clawing my way to the top,
Mm.
I still feel like I didn't belong.
Wow.
It still didn't feel like I belong. The second one was because I felt like an imposter, I was striving for perfection. That's what burns us out. When we believe that perfection is the only way to be excellent, that to have black excellence, we have to be perfect. And we have been taught this growing up. Work 2 and 3 times harder to be seen as equal. That's how you play the game. That's what burns you out and, like me, end you up in the hospital because you're
Wow.
exhausted.
Wow.
And that last one again is that superwoman complex. Say no. Why do you why do you feel the need to be the go-to, to be the savior? What is it inside of you, right? That's inner. That's mental, right? And so those three things is what kept me. And so I would say to women, do the inner work to figure out who you are under the degrees, under the certifications, under the job titles, under all of those things, who you are and what do you really bring to the table, because that's how you own your power.
Come on.
Because once you realize that, you know what, I've earned all of this. You know what, I am that girl that had to drop out of college and finish online. But guess what? I turn that into my competitive advantage and tell you that I'm a resilient problem solver.
Wow.
So when you strip away all of that and really get to the core, that's what I would tell any woman. Figure out why. Do some deep inner
Wow.
work. Sit in that. Don't be afraid of that. You have to sit in that. And that's hard. And but that's
Mm.
what I talk about on stage. That's what I guide women through in my book, Leading with Spice, is that process. And also in my leadership development program. That's what we go through. And we have to do that as women because when we show up in our power, like you said, Adrian, when you walk into a room and you own it, you are unstoppable.
Yes, you are.
You are unstoppable. So that's what I would tell any woman.
So, what would you say like, what have you seen, because I know you're in the position of leadership and I know that you've probably seen so many other women that have worked up underneath you, worked beside you, and you have seen them have behaviors
Mm,
that would end up derailing, you know what I'm saying?
mm.
um Especially when it comes down to females, what is the behavior that you feel like derails a female of color in leadership roles?
It's so funny you asking me this question and brings up this story. So I just got back from speaking at a conference, and a young lady, she comes up afterwards and she gives me her name. And I was like, I just, for some reason, I don't know what it was. And I was like, and I just gave her a look. She said, well, that's not my real name. I just used that name because it's easier for people to pronounce. And I said, well, what is your name? And she tells me, so it's a longer name. I said, well, that's who I want to meet. I had her walk back out, come back, reintroduce yourself. She reintroduced herself. She had so much confidence saying her name. This this beautiful woman changed her name, her identity for the sake of pleasing others. Like when we sit
Mm,
and think about that,
Jesus.
her name tag was a completely different name. And so that's one of the behaviors. When we change our physical appearance, right? So that we can have an executive image. We know what that is. And I'm going to tell you, it's a term I despise. I believe in having a presence. You have a presence, that's a whole package. But an executive image, I'm going to tell you, for those of you who are striving for an executive image, the executive image was not designed with women like you and mine. So
Come
you are
on.
conforming to something that does not even belong or does not even think about you.
Yes.
So those behaviors of changing our physical appearance, changing who we are shrinking and suppressing who you are, changing your name to people please is one of is some of those behaviors that I see a lot, especially in corporate America, in the legal field, finance, human resources. Human resources is my background. Oh my God, I used to see it. So, and still do.
Wow.
I mean, I have women today, like you said, I have my braids. Today, ask me, how do I show up in braids? What do I do? What should
Mm,
I do? Who knew that wearing your hair the way that it grows out of your scalp is a phenomenon?
come on.
So women today ask me, I want to change my nails and put some color on them. These are like small little things, but they reveal so much. How do I do that? And still be seen as credible, is not have these preconceived notions. These are
Wow.
the types of behaviors that I still see today in
Wow.
hiding ourselves. Yes. So
Hmm.
yes, it's rough, and it happens in the business world, right? Especially when we
Oh
start
yeah.
getting into some of
It,
these
it
rooms.
girl, it happens everywhere. It happens
Mhm.
everywhere. I've seen it, um, especially to women of color in the military.
Oh my gosh.
I've seen it happen to physicians. It's happened to myself. Um, and it was crazy because even when it happened to me, I'm like, I'm in the beauty industry. I'm like, come
Right.
on, I should be able to express myself the way I want to. But I did not realize I was everything I was doing, it was the first, you know.
Mm.
I didn't realize I was the first African American female black brand ambassador. I didn't realize that I was the because I was just doing it. They was asking me, I'm doing it, you know. And I'll never forget one time I was working for a company that I'm not going to mention, and I sent off an email. And because of my sisters and my dad's girl, my dad, they're in the corporate world. So
Mhm.
after I sent off the email, they was like, "Are you crazy? You don't send that kind of email." Because I asked them because I saw my treatment was different. Even though I was a regional over an area and it was five other people, I was treated differently. So, girl, I just asked them. I said, "What is it?" I said, "Is it because I'm bald?" I said, "Is it because I'm black?" Because, everybody else had hair. I'm like, "Is it because,
She said, "It's because I'm
because
bald."
I'm fat?" I said, is because y'all think like I'm hood or something? And the last question I asked them, I said, or do you think it's because I'm black? You know, what
Mm,
is it?
mm,
And this was at a point in time in my life where I felt like, you know what, Adrian, you don't need all these weaves.
mm,
You need to be you. This is
mm.
me. You know, but I was going through that period of I gotta belong.
We
And I
are
said, I
wired
don't
to
know
belong.
if it was like, you know, when it's
Yes.
like, okay, well, are they really treating you different? Or Adrian, is it in your head?
Mm,
And some days, you know, now that I look back at it, I think it was probably 50-50.
yeah. Yeah.
You know, it was things that I thought it was a look. I thought it was a sound that
Mm-hmm.
we had to have. You know what I'm saying? And then I realized no. So what would you say? So this question is for better or for worse.
Okay.
As a leader, do you as a black leader, because I gotta put the black on it, you know,
Please
because a
do.
lot of times we
We
try
skate
to,
past that.
we do,
Yeah.
and I gotta just be 100. I
Please
don't know
do.
no other way too, you
Please.
know. But my thing is, so as a black female leader, were you ever in a position where you were being treated better or worse?
Mm, I love this question. Man, that's a good one. I'll tell you, there was a time in my career early on where I was making a name for myself, right? Trying to climb up. And I had a leader sit me down and he said, Shayla, you're amazing. You deliver results, all these things. He said, you just don't have the intangibles. So I had to sit there, the intangibles. And he proceeds to say, just a little rough around the edges.
Wow.
This was maybe almost 20 years ago. And back then, I really didn't have a strong network and a strong community. And you said it earlier, I stuck on that one negative, and for the next decade, I spent
Mm,
I spent my time changing my identity so I can have the intangibles
Jesus.
off that one conversation. I remember it like it's yesterday. I needed
Jesus.
to have the intangibles. Now, I didn't ask what are the intangibles. He just said I was rough around the edges. And I took that as, oh, was it physical? Didn't ask,
Right, right, right.
right? Um, Now the flip side of that coin is when I came back from maternity leave after having my girls, this was my turning point. And the very first time I had my mohawk, and when I came back, I think it was like 2 or 3 days later, back from leave, I had a big C-suite meeting to ask for millions of dollars for a diversity recruiting strategy. And when I came back, I had on my bright colors. Like, I love color. I had my mohawk. And I went in and I said, hey, I need X amount of dollars. If we don't get it, this is what'll happen. If we do get it, this is what will happen. Let's talk. That was the first time, again. So in the C suite, the leader said, there she is.
Mm,
We've been waiting on her.
wow.
Yes, you can have the money and we can leave the door open to talk about more.
Wow.
And I started to get the treatment that we see our counterparts get.
Wow.
You know what I'm talking about? I
Yeah.
started to get that treatment. But I showed up because what would have happened beforehand is I would have come in, I would have overcompensated. I would have talked about, I would have tried to prove the point that I'm the smartest person in the room because I felt like an imposter. I would have tried to prove that I'm the this and I'm the that. Mm-mm. Being a boss means you have conversations, you're clear and concise with your communications, and you ask for what it is that you need. And if you don't get it, this is it. It's boundaries. People respect it. People respect it. They have no other choice but to respect it. It was
Even
a
if they don't
different,
like it.
even if you don't like it. That from that point on, I saw the different, the better treatment. That's when my career took off.
Wow.
That's when I got the better treatment because I
Wow.
can have boss conversations and not try to sit up
Wow.
here and prove that, oh, whether or not I had this alma mater and whether or not I was the smartest person and I would have came in with all this extra unnecessary information because really I'm trying to prove that I really belong at the table.
Whew.
When you know you belong at the table, you
Come
walk in
on
and say, "This
now.
is what I
Come
need,
on.
and here are your boundaries, and this is what I if I don't get it, this is what will happen." Because the thing about S is your savvy. If you don't know how you make your company money, you working for free.
You could say that one again.
If you don't know how you make your company money, you are
Yes.
working for free. That's what being a boss is. Whether you even in a business owner, if you don't know how you generate revenue and you working on all the non-generating revenue generating activities, you can't have those boss conversations.
Jesus. Girl, y'all getting ready to see me do something next
Listen,
week that and is basically what you talking about right now. Is what you talking about right now.
yes. But see,
Oh my
that was
goodness.
flip side. That was the worst. And then the better was when I showed up as myself and it was a power and it became respect. Like you said, whether
Mm.
you liked it or not. And that is seriously when my career took off.
And it's crazy because when you in that boss mode, I
Man,
feel like people look at you two different kinds of ways. Either you come off like you this angry, crazy black woman that
mm,
drives me crazy, or they respect you that you know your stuff.
mm. That angry black woman thing, that's something that, I've personally had to deal with, especially, like I said, I used to change my voice. 'Cause when we get passionate, right, about something and we speak on it and, we have our boundaries, we either angry or we're difficult to work with, right? We're not the team player, right? One of the things I will tell you is as you start your journey to being your authentic self, one, take baby steps. Don't flip a switch. Take baby steps. But two, with the angry black woman, I always ask, are you addressing me? Are you addressing the origin of the trigger? And then you get silence and you get crickets because it's like, until you address the origin of the trigger, then we can come back and have a conversation. And literally over the years, that has been very effective, a very effective tactic because at this point, um, now I'm not saying walk in to be a bull in a china shop. I'm not saying that.
Right, right. No, I get it.
What I'm saying is understand that again, having boundaries, it's okay that people don't like it. We have to get over the people pleasing. We are not meant to be friends with every single person. It's okay. You're going to ruffle some feathers. I'm not saying ruin relationships either, because those matter, but it's okay. We have to get over the need to please people. Because
That
when
is
you're pleasing everybody else, you're not pleasing yourself
at all.
at all. You're exhausted and you're unfulfilled. So, yeah, ask that question. And I bet you get crickets, you get silence.
Hmm. So, have you ever dealt with your male counterparts not feeling like you are not capable or
Mm.
suited for the position? And how did you handle it?
You know, after that one leader I shared about earlier, I would say I had a very unique experience. And I don't know if my experience is an anomaly. I'll be curious to hear from the audience on this. I actually have and have had in corporate America a lot of male champions. I did not have a lot of, besides that one leader, a lot of males who were like, oh, you're not suitable like this. It was from other women. That was
Mm,
my experience. And I don't know if others experienced that. It was from other women, black and white,
wow.
because I was viewed as intimidating. I was viewed as competition. So there was this need and desire to, oh, you're not, you're not qualified. I had more male champions and sponsors and mentors in my career who spoke up for me, and that's how I would get my roles and get my promotions, is actually my
Wow.
male counterparts. So I don't know, I'm curious to know from the
And
audience, has
I
that been
think my
somebody else's
sister would say,
experience?
yes. I think my sister would probably um, agree with you on
Mm.
this because I've heard her say the same thing. So, why do you think is that?
Listen, we'll be here all night. We're gonna be here all night talking about that. Listen, that one. I'll speak about the women who look like us first, and I'll relate this to my own personal experience. Growing up in corporate America at this time, before women empowerment. Oh, this was good. Was it jealousy or lack of confidence on other women? That was part of
Mm,
it. That's a good one. That's a good question. When I was growing up in corporate America, I believed and was taught, because before diversity and inclusion had a title, before women empowerment, you believe there's one spot for you at the top.
right.
It's only one spot. It's only one spot for us. They only held one spot. So we got to claw and stab each other in the back to get that one spot.
Wow.
And a lot of us believed that in corporate America, that one spot. And so we will dim the light of our sisters
Wow.
to make yours shine brighter to get that one spot. And
Mm,
that still happens today. And I would
wow.
say the jealousy was a part of it, or lack of confidence. Um, again, when you show up, the thing is, you have to understand, when you start walking in your power, you will make others feel uncomfortable.
Oh, yeah. Most definitely.
And you have to be okay with that. And not shrink yourself to go, oh, I'm sorry. Let me shrink back down so I can be, the team player, right? Um, but I would say, for women, when we believe it's just that one spot, we'll claw, we'll stab each other in the back
Wow.
to get ahead, instead of looking at each other as collaboration. It's that competition.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm. And those were my experiences. Because I would ask, what is it? And how many of us was told growing up, you go to work, you do a good job, you keep your head down, keep your personal life personal, you're not there to make friends, collect your
Yes.
paycheck and go home.
So
That was my
true.
talk. That's what was drilled and ingrained, right? And I think over time, we have seen relationships in the workplace is like, wait, can we have these relationships? Yes, have a tribe. Business owners, have a tribe. I don't care if you are doing the
But
same type of
it's
work.
among women.
Yes,
Because you don't see the same thing with men.
at all. They relish in those relationships. I don't care if the woman is doing the same type of work. How can I support you? How can we collaborate? What can we do together?
Wow. She said, yes, I was told that by supervisors,
Supervisors.
not
Wow.
told. Mm,
Wow. Wow. So what happens is when we get indoctrinated into that thinking, right? We don't build relationships. And
no.
I had a mentor ask me once. She said, "Who knows you?" And I'm like, "Oh, I know a lot of people, girl." Like, yeah. She said, "No, no, 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 no. They know the employee, Shayla. Who knows the real you? Who knows enough about you that when they step into the room, they're willing to put their corporate currency on the line for your name?"
Come on.
I was like, "Well, no, because I had my guard up. You're not knowing nothing about me. I'm not going to the networking happy hours to talk about me. I'm not doing all that. I'm not here to make friends."
Because it's that fear.
The fear,
That fear of like, how am I going to be looked at? Especially if they see me drinking my Patron tonight. How am I going to be
right?
looked at tomorrow
Looked at
morning
the
at 7
same,
o'clock?
right?
So yes.
So, and it happens. And so for me, sh- go network. Listen, and I get it. I'm an introvert, believe it or not. I am so introverted, it's ridiculous. And so to be like, oh my gosh, I got to go out here and start peopling and talk to people. Like, I got to go take a nap because you got me out here peopling.
Right.
What I would ask my women, especially my women of color, is to let your guard down just a little bit. Just a
Mm,
little bit. Just a little. Just allow people to see how amazing you truly are. The real
wow.
you. Let your guard down a little bit.
Wow. So is that Jeter's? No, that's, I'm trying to see who. Girl, I ain't got my glasses on.
Oh
I
my.
done, girl, I was flying yesterday and I dropped my glasses and I dropped them up underneath
Oh
the seat.
no.
I mean, up underneath the chair, and I was feeling for them. And girl, they wasn't nothing but old readers. But I'm trying to still act like these eyes is 25, and they saying no. So I can't see who that is. But she like, yes, you know,
Yeah.
and I feel like I think that's Kim.
I
I
think that is
can't
Kim.
see. Is it Kim?
I think so. Yeah, that's Kim.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. She said that was she said it's Kim.
Hey
She
Kim.
said this is their point. Let your guard down.
Just a little.
Just a little.
Just a little.
So I want you to leave a little nugget with this audience for women that are currently in the leader role, women that are going into the leader position.
Mm,
How do you continue to be you?
mm. My little nugget is find out who you are. I mean, really, who are you? And I'm going to ask this on stage and I'm going to ask it here. Can you describe yourself without using your job title,
Mm,
your marital status,
mother.
without using a degree, a certification? Can you truly describe who you are? That's step number one. Find out who you are. Get uncomfortable in that, right? Like sit in it. That's my nugget. Because that's the first step so that you can start to lead with spice. Because after the end, baby, it's on and pop. It's on and popping. We can spice it up. And that's how you can take your career and your business to the next level. Know who you really are. That's my nugget.
Hmm. And own it.
Own it. Own it. All the flaws, all the strengths. Own it. And what I call flaws again, how do you reframe those flaws and turn them into your competitive advantage? That was something that was a game changer for me because we are conditioned to look at what we don't have. I don't have
Hmm.
all the years of experience. When I changed careers and went into HR, I kept saying, I don't have all the years of experience. Oh my God. Now it is, I have a diverse background and an operational background, and I can help HR be a better business partner at the table because I have
Yes.
that lens. So how do you reframe what you don't have and turn that to your advantage? But you got
Mm.
to know, you have to know who you are at the core in order to do that. So
Girl, you
that's my
know
nugget.
it's good if I went over my time.
Oh no,
But
look, we having a conversation.
I'm like, I really gotta ask you. So, how
Yeah.
was your childhood? What was your
Mm,
fondest memory?
my fondest.
Mm-hmm.
So my fondest memories growing up were me. So I was a dancer for years. So I love dancing. It was my happy place, right? And my childhood, I moved around a lot. But I would say one of the things that I love about my family and my parents is we weren't rich. We didn't have a lot financially, but I didn't know that until I got older. And
Mm.
they I look, there was no, like, I had love and I had these lessons, like, I don't, even when I talk about these things to where, oh, I grew up and these were drilled into me. I don't look at that as a negative, right? Or like, hey, I blame my parents, by no means, right? They instilled into me the values of hard work and the work ethic that I have today. But my fondest memories are dancing. My grandma used to make me dresses. I never had to buy a dress from the store. She beautiful, lavish dresses. And we, again, financially, baby, we was poor. Poor. Did I mention
Poor
poor?
money, but rich in so many other
Rich
things.
and so many other things. I never knew it until I got older. I was like, wait, mama. Or no, it was actually my aunt who used to have us dilute our milk and our cereal. Why we had to put water in our milk? Didn't know it. Not until I got older. And I was like, oh, wait, we was poor. Okay, I get it. So that, I mean, but I would say there were some defining moments in my childhood that kind of led me into feeling like an imposter and, things like that. But um, no regrets.
Amen. It created the amazing woman you are today.
Yes, no
I
regret.
look
Oh,
forward to you being on the seven-figure boss. Girl, and you just gave them a little smell of what they gonna have.
that's
You
just,
ain't
look, we ain't even scratched the surface.
girl, no,
We
you
not even
did.
scratching the surface.
Oh, so where can they find you?
Yes. So first and foremost, on social media, I am Coach Shayla Speaks on Instagram and on Facebook. I am Coach Shayla Speaks 2.0. But if you're like, I'm not remembering all that, I just need to go. Oh, this is good. Look, you done interrupted my thought process. But if you
I'm
just need to
sorry.
go to one place to find me is www.shaylaNAtkins.com. I'll say it again, www.shaylaNAtkins.com. You can get to me through like all my consulting, my leadership development, speaking, all of that from that one hub. Social media, all the things. Yes.
So what's coming up for you next?
So coming up next, I am still on my book press tour. Hold on, let me grab it here.
Girl,
Mm, 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 mm. Listen, y'all don't be mad because y'all not in the Lead with Spice Club, but you can get in the Lead with Spice Club.
come on.
So I am still on my book press tour. Black Women Lead with Spice. It is available on Amazon. You can search Black Women Lead with Spice. Get your copy on Amazon today, right? I always say for this book, and I put this out there. This book is my love letter to women, to Black women, but any woman can read it. But please note, it is my love letter to Black women. So I talk about getting my sew-ins in my hair and straightening all of that. These are my stories, but also it is a workbook. It's a playbook. There is like you actually to read this book, you need a pen, paper, highlighter, you need tissues, edge control, all the things. Kim says she got it. Come
Mm-hmm.
on Amazon. And so if you want to go deeper with Spice, I am hosting a 5-day intensive hands-on workshop. Go to register leadwithspice.com/workshop, and we're going deep, right? So we're going to go deep, 5 days, hands on, no fluff. As
Love
y'all can
it.
tell, we get straight to it, no fluff. Uh,
That's right. That's
yes,
why I said,
that's what's
y'all,
coming up for
if
me.
y'all looking for a summit that is going to not only
Yes,
change give you those funny, lovely emotions that we talked about in the beginning. But if you are looking for something truly tangible to walk away with that's going to impact your business and your life, don't wait because tickets are selling.
get them today.
Oh, wait a
Get
minute.
them
And next week
today.
is the last week with them being at a discounted rate.
Oh,
So yeah, because the price is about to go up another $300. So
get it,
y'all better
get it.
y'all better lock down y'all ticket. Well, thank you, Miss Shayla
Thank you.
Atkins.
And I
I
want to say,
really
listen,
enjoyed this.
yes, me too. Thank you for having this summit. Listen, the fact that you are not only about just having a summit, like you said, to just get in the fields, equipping women. So many times I know we get burned and I know we go into these events and we get all riled up and then
Come
we
on,
walk away and like, so what do I do now? And that's what
come
I
on.
love about your platform. You're like, no, we're going to equip you here. So I just want to give you your flowers, Miss Adrian.
Thank you. That's why I
Yes.
told everybody, I'm like, if y'all look at that lineup, we ain't got nothing but bad behind educators that's
Listen.
bringing the fire.
Yes.
So yeah,
We
I'm
playing no
excited,
games.
girl. I'm coming with my plate empty so I could
Yes.
be fed with my pen, my paper, because I know y'all gonna be dropping those gems. Well,
Yes.
thank you so much, darling. I
Thank you for
really
having me.
appreciate you taking out the time out of y'all day. Make sure that y'all go and give Miss Shayla Atkins some digital currency. Y'all like, share, and follow. But most of all, buy her book right now. All right. All right. Thank you, Miss Shayla.
Thank you. I can't wait to see you.
I know, me too.
All right. Y'all have a good night.
You too. Well, hey guys, I hope y'all enjoyed that and y'all know where to find me. Make sure that y'all are signing up for the Seven Figure Boss podcast on Spotify, Google, iHeart, Apple Podcasts. Y'all can find me. Like I shared, as of May 30th, y'all will not be able to get the discounted rate for the Seven Figure Boss. So if you have not purchased your tickets, get your tickets. Treat yourself. Let's make it happen. And y'all go out and make $1 million choices.